Good morning, everyone, and welcome to kind of an ambush stream. I didn't use the ambush stream intro, but yeah, big news. Big news is happening. Big news, breaking news, breaking news. I had to share with everybody because this is really major. This is really major. Just as a sort of precedent, a watershed event in the grand scheme of D.E.I. Meta, formerly Facebook, has decided to end all of its D.E.I. initiatives in one clean sweep. And holy cow, that's big. I got a story on that. I'll get to it momentarily. But first, who's joining me on this ambush stream? Mr. X51, good mornings. It's almost afternoon. I'll say good afternoon. Oh, John Miller, good morning. The Alexander, good morning. Datura Jones, good morning. Mike Savage, Blarg. Keeverdam, good morning to you. And thank you, Keeverdam, so much for the donation. That's very generous of you. And also thank you for sharing out the stream. Yes, everybody, if you see the stream out on X, I'm also simulcasting on X, if you can share that out and retweet it. But elsewise, if you can take the link to this stream and put it out there, I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for that ahead of time. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for keeping an eye on things. Jim Heelis, good morning. Who else is here? The best Remy, good evening. Good evening, sorry. Good morning. Luke Skywalker 2, good morning. Fun Time Bats, good morning. Mike R., good morning. Daryl Adele, good afternoon to you. Shady Grin, good morning. Anthem Ward, good morning. Describe, you need the breaking news dolphin like drunk what used to have. The breaking news dolphin like Drunkle used to have. I can interpret this. Yeah, I don't have a breaking news stinger. I don't usually do breaking news. This is new to me. Morgan King, good morning. Afternoon, I should say. Miranda Stone, why, good morning, Miranda Stone. And good morning, Corbin Dallas. John Trioxin, good morning. Plague Trucker Zach, good morning. And did I already say Simon Wilkins? Simon Wilkins, good morning. Okay, well, let's get right to it. Pinned to the top of the chat box for reference is a video I did some 5 years ago, roundabouts 2019, 2020, when Facebook, back in the olden days, used to post their diversity metrics on their population, their workforce. In that video, you'll find a little analysis of their promotional materials talking about their achievements in diversity between 2014 and 2019. They weren't anything to crow about then, and the motivations and logic behind why they were doing it was just as questionable then as it would be now. So maybe, just maybe, my video finally found its way to Mark Zuckerberg's desk after 5+ years. Probably not. Either way, this is a big deal. Let's get into it. This comes from Axios. Exclusive Meta kills DEI programs. And then there's sirens in the background because obviously when the crime occurs, there's been a murder. And there's police out there. Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta is terminating major DEI programs effective immediately, including for hiring, training, and picking suppliers, according to a new employee memo obtained by Axios. Oh, thank goodness. So not only hiring and training DEI stuff, but also picking suppliers on the basis of the race and or gender of the people running the company in question. If only, and I hope beyond hope, that all of this is just a precursor for what's about to happen in the U.S. government once Trump takes over again, and as well, that this is a model for other major companies out there. Why it matters. The move is a strong signal to Meta employees that the company's push to make inroads with the incoming Trump administration isn't just posturing, but an ethos shift that will impact its business practices. Well, it could be that, or it could be that they're finally willing to give up the ghost on the idea that DEI is a business benefit. Because they probably looked at the numbers over the last 5 years and said, you know, has DEI actually provided us any, bonus, any profit, any revenue as a result of it? No. And it's also opening us up, and has been for years, to legal liability. I don't know why more companies don't understand that that's what they've been doing this whole time. But it is going to take an empowered governmental oversight to actually make that mean anything. That's what I'm also hoping Trump brings in, is a finally empowered EEOC to take some of these companies to task. Context: Meta said it was changing course because the, quote, legal and policy landscape surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the United States is changing, unquote, per a memo by Janelle Gale, Vice President of Human Resources. Yeah, it is changing. About 8+ years too late, but I'll take what I can get. The moves come just 3 days after Meta ended many of its efforts to fact-check and police speech on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Oh my gosh, a Meta renaissance. The announcement also follows a host of public moves by tech companies and executives to align with the politics and cultural views of President-elect Trump and the MAGA movement. Yeah, probably because they see and they are aware of the legal black hole that they are sitting over if Trump decides to make them an example in an EEOC, anti-DEI, anti-discrimination movement, which he should. But honestly, whatever companies are trying to kowtow to Trump now should not be immune from legal examination for what they've been doing for the last decade or more. So everything Facebook has done up to this point, as far as I'm concerned when it comes to DEI, opens up the possibility to a gigantic civil rights class action lawsuit. And the same should be and such should be the same for every other company out there that's been participating in this for the last decade or more. State of play: Friday's memo by Gale announcing changes to, quote, our hiring, develop, and procurement practices, unquote, was posted for Meta employees in Workplace, the company's internal communications tool. Quote, the legal and policy landscape surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the United States is changing, Gale wrote. Quote, the Supreme Court of the United States has recently made decisions signaling a shift in how courts will approach DEI. The term DEI has also become charged, in part because it is understood by some as a practice that suggests preferential treatment of some groups over others, unquote. Suggests? Suggests. No. It overtly says so. Again, at the top of the chat box, there's a link to a video I did 5 years ago in Facebook's own promotional videos doing that very thing. Yeah, the courts have approached DEI, yes, because the courts rejected the diversity argument to excuse racial discrimination in college admissions. And that same decision easily carries over to Title VII and employment decisions by private businesses. So, just saying. The big picture: similar moves have been made recently by other major companies, including Walmart in November and McDonald's just this week. Yeah, somebody must have got the memo, maybe ahead of time. Meta last week replaced its president of global affairs, Nick Clegg, with Joel Kaplan, a prominent Republican who is now chief global affairs officer. Meta pledged a $1 million donation to Trump's inauguration and added UFC president and CEO Dana White, a top Trump ally, to its board Monday. Uh-oh, it's a silent coup. Or not much of a coup. Anyway, zoom in. What are these Axios subheadings? Citing the shifting legal and policy landscape, Meta's memo announced 5 big DEI pullbacks. Oh boy, here we go. I love a list. Cutting Meta's DEI team. Meta will no longer have a team focused on DEI. Yay! Maxine Williams, the company's chief diversity officer, is taking a new role at Meta focused on accessibility and engagement, Gale wrote. Is this just the leopard changing its spots, though? Let's keep an eye on these particular buzzwords as the months and years proceed, shall we? Almost did a Sean Connery there. Proceed. Accessibility and engagement. Okay, Maxine Williams. Is that the same lady in the video that I was looking at? I don't know. I didn't catch her name. But anyway, the video pinned to the top of the chat box. Could be the same lady. Ending equity and inclusion programs. Meta will instead build programs, quote, that focus on how to apply fair and consistent practices that mitigate bias for all, no matter your background, Gale said. Well, that's some lofty goal right there. Again, I have to ask, because I don't trust Meta as far as I can throw it, nor Mark Zuckerberg. Just changing the spots on the leopard. Let's see. Sunsetting supplier diversity efforts. Okay, this is something that the federal government is currently under fire for. Meta will end efforts to source business suppliers from diverse-owned businesses. Moving forward, the company will, quote, focus our efforts on supporting small and medium-sized businesses that power much of our economy, Gale wrote. Well, how about supporting, small and medium-sized businesses that have the merit and the record to deserve your business? That'd be better. But yeah, getting rid of the whole, well, let's check first to see what is the color of the ownership of the business before we decide to give them a contract. It's good if you're getting rid of that. It's probably also legally healthy. Ending the diverse slate approach to hiring. While Meta will continue to source candidates from different backgrounds, this is always a catchy word, it will no longer use the diverse slate hiring approach, which ensures a diverse pool of candidates is considered for every open position. Quote, we believe there are other ways to build an industry-leading workforce and leverage teams made up of world-class people from all types of backgrounds, Gale wrote. In other words, we are going to no longer explicitly discriminate on the basis of race, gender, and orientation when looking at hiring. Not explicitly. You see, I don't have a whole lot of faith in what's going on here. I like the messaging. I like where this will lead, hopefully. I don't like how they're wording it because it seems very couched. It's not an automatic rejection of the rotten core of DEI. It's just kind of a soft rebranding. So I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're sending this message, but I still have to wonder. Ending representation goals. Oh, thank goodness. And this was key in the video that I looked at 5 years ago. Quote, having representation goals, quote, can create the impression that decisions are being made on race or gender. Gale wrote, oh, man. You see, they're walking a fine line here, right? Because this is effectively a concession that they have been violating federal law this entire time. They can't outright say it, right? Because that would just open up the door to massive lawsuits, which should be oncoming anyway, as far as I'm concerned. But we don't want to give the impression that we're making decisions based on race or gender or anything. No. Quote, while this has never been our practice... Okay, stop. You know, no, you didn't know.
What? You gotta be fucking kidding.
Right?
Okay, ending representation goals, which means they already possessed them. Having representation goals can create the impression that decisions are being made based on race or gender. While this has never been our practice, we want to eliminate any impression of it. I should check to see if their promotional videos from back in the day are still on YouTube, because man, it has never been our practice, but let me showcase all of these former employees and executives, or current employees and executives, I don't know, they might still be working there, who have been chatting up this very thing since 2019. Again, if nothing else, I have archived it. Link at the top of the chat box. Oh, man. Thank you, John Miller. We're still going to keep the DEI. We're just going to be less subtle about it. Yeah, just rebranding, but also trying to avoid any responsibility for what they've been doing this whole time. That part right there really spells it out. They are getting out from under the legal risk. They are going full on Trump on this because they see the writing on the wall. Every company that's been doing this entire time is now a target for long delayed legal consequences. So if they think that getting in good with Trump by playing nice now is going to make them avoid a lawsuit or an investigation, I hope that's not the case. I hope Trump and the administration thereof does not fall for it. Okay, it's good that these programs are ending, sure, but the companies that have been pushing this stuff for so long need to be held accountable. Legally accountable. Criminally accountable. Can you imagine over the course of the last decade, with these policies in place, just how many individual American citizens have had their civil rights violated by companies like Facebook/Meta every time that a hiring, promotion, or supplying decision has been made, it's astronomical how many violations have occurred because of these things, and they've gotten away with it because nobody was minding the store. She noted the company, quote, previously ended representation goals for women and ethnic minorities. Oh, but of course saying that means that we don't want to give the impression that decisions are being based on race or gender. But we did have representation goals for women and ethnic minorities. They're running scared, and I love it. Zoom out. Data suggests tech employees tend to be more liberal than their employers. But over the last year, the public sentiment has shifted about corporations taking a stand on major issues like DEI, as well as environmental, social, and governance issues. President-elect Trump, buoyed by a growing friendship with Elon Musk, last month endorsed the H-1B visa program for foreign tech workers. What has that got to do with anything? Okay. What they're saying, Meta has the privilege to serve billions of people every day, the memo concludes. Serve billions of people through your products, but also discriminate against hundreds and millions of people on the basis of your hiring practices for the last decade or so. It's, quote, it's important to us that our products are accessible to all and are useful in promoting economic growth and opportunity around the world, unless you're the wrong color or the wrong gender. But then, we won't give you the supplying contract. Oh, but now we will. We totes swears we wills. We continue to be focused on serving everyone, not necessarily with employment, and building a multi-talented, industry-leading workforce from all walks of life, except those that we deemed less important 10 minutes ago. So on the plus side, this is a very public, very major announcement from a gigantic company rebuking DEI in name completely. And that's great. That's great. But like I say, if all of this is just lip service to Trump and please don't sue us ring kissing, I really hope Trump doesn't fall for it. Facebook, Google, Accenture, Citigroup, pardon me, HP, on and on and on. These gigantic companies that have been pushing this stuff since I started my channel, all of them should be held to account. And soon, because I am sure there is a statute of limitations that is just ticking away at cases every day that goes by from when they started these things. And a lot of people have been underserved and discriminated against unfairly, illegally, under federal law for years now. And there has to be consequences. Something has to happen meaningfully so that this doesn't happen again. Why do we have to keep relearning this lesson? Title VII and Title VI have been there since 1964. But all these companies have pretended like it hasn't existed. And they've gotten away with it because nobody has befallen them any consequences. The people that should haven't. I can only hope that changes. Over to the chat. This is Kyle. Hello. How are you doing? Let's see what else. Daryl Odell, criminals held accountable. Gasp. I know. This is white-collar crime. This is federal law that's been violated. Facebook/Meta, in its memo announcement there, in so many words, just confessed to having been operating on a discriminatory basis in hiring and supply chain for years. Our diversity, a slate. No. That had nothing to do with hiring on the basis of your gender or your race or no. We just don't want the impression to be out there that we do. By the way, our diversity goals for women and minorities, we're ending those too. This is glorious in so many ways. Kirsten Scholl over on the X. Hello, K. Scholl. Let's see. John Miller. How very meta of them. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, no. We're ending this stuff. Not because we've been doing anything bad. We just don't want to give the impression we're doing anything bad. Datura Jones, maybe the infinity symbol is indicative of an indefinite regime. Oh, the Zuckerberg family, in one way, shape, or form, will be running that company forever. I'm sure. Which is, it's his company. SWD40 Corporate. We hear people are tired of DEI, so going forward, we'd like to introduce our new product, DEI It Double Down, where nothing changed except the dosage of our recipe. Again, and this is what we all have to be careful and watch out for and be vigilant, is that as companies and organizations start to draw down or downplay their DEI initiatives and departments and programs, are they actually changing, or are they just moving the chairs around on the deck of the Titanic? The DEI executive for Meta is not losing her job. She's just moving to a different department with a different name. But will it effectively be doing the same thing? This is why there has to be consequences and accountability. Otherwise, they will just hide it. They will make it more covert, more subtle, and less flashy. And people will still be unfairly discriminated against. And it'll continue. The rot has to be pulled up by the roots. And the only way that's going to happen is if there are lawsuits and investigations. Meta cannot get away with sweet-talking the Trump administration and hiring on Republicans. That is one big attempt at a dodge, and they should not be allowed to get away with it. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the subject. What are your thoughts on the subject? Let me know in the comments below, or over on the Discord server. Did you know I have a Discord server? Well, I have a Discord server. Did I pre-prepare a link to the Discord server? No, but I have done just now. So over in the chat box, you click on that link, you'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream, are not a bot, and of thus are in the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Zuckerberg. Just say hello, Zuckerberg, and I'll know that you watched the show. Programming note, there will not be a Sunday stream this Sunday. I'll be out of town visiting my folks. So I will be back Sunday afternoon and or evening, depending on the timing of things. So the next time you might see me online, as far as streaming goes, will be Monday for Midnight's Edge in the morning at 9:05 a.m. Pacific Time, noon 05 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, one more programming note, I have been invited to be on the Culture Casino show next Friday afternoon. So as soon as I have a link for that and have that all set up, I will let you guys know. I'm looking forward to that. I've been on panels with Culture for several months now, and it'll be interesting to be on his channel. Hopefully I'll be able to have him on mine in the future as well. Beyond that, everyone, thank you for joining me for this relatively brief ambush stream. Again, let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to share this out either on YouTube or on X, where I'm simulcasting. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. Very much appreciated. Also, I don't have it up there, but please, if you haven't already, please consider donating to a verified charity for the wildfire relief in California. That is ongoing as I speak. In fact, I'm going to go and return to keeping an eye on the coverage of that right after this. But I figured in the ethos of my channel and following DEI for all this time, it was worth doing a little stream giving this news out. But elsewise, everyone, hope you have a good rest of your Friday. Hope you have a good and fun weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.